Hey, what's going on, guys? Double 1 Set Shadow here. Hope you guys have been doing well. It's been pretty busy for me these days, but I'm making do as well. And for today's market watch, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So, first thing I want to cover today is sealed product, as TCG Player has a bonus going on tomorrow for bonus bucks back. So, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Essentially wanted to take a look at what they consider as best selling right now, which we're looking at Minerva's Rising for the top selling right now. It's not too surprising. Raging Flame is in second. I'm actually surprised Record of Ragnarok is on here. Granted that this set is not that popular even in terms of play. And I've never even seen anybody play a Record of Ragnarok deck. I've seen Shaman King. Maybe it's also because Record of Ragnarok is significantly cheaper. Shaman King is pretty MSRP right now. The Triumphant Return, Lyrical Melody. This one's also under its MSRP, but that's generally because not many people pick up out of this set anyway. Brush with Legends is also under MSRP at this point. The trial decks are still way too expensive. Urara's is the cheapest right now, but that's still above MSRP at this point. Blazing Dragon Reborn is also on the front page. We got the Shaman King booster pack on the front page, as opposed to the box, unless I skipped it somewhere. $80 for Lyrical Monasterio Set 2. Ah, there's the box. $35. That doesn't seem too bad. Advance of Intertwined, I mentioned this before, how this was also under MSRP, and overall is overprinted from what I can speculate. But set 3 of Lyrical, $100? No, thank you. Blessing of Diva, that's a different era altogether. And we'll stop at the second page here, ending it off with the Shaman King trial deck. Now let's move on into singles, starting with Gold Gaion from Festival Collection 2021. Didn't even know about this card until recently. It just popped up when I was looking at best selling, but I can see why. This card has the ability to call a grade 1 from your hand to rear guard when this card is placed, and there's a new ride line from Cater Sanctuary in set 10 coming out, which allows you to call during the battle phase. And since this is not restricted to placement from hand, it will work with that because it calls from deck. Not to mention that could give this some potential premium gameplay as well, but I suppose it hasn't been that effective given premium already does this sort of thing anyway. But if you want to pick up this card, 25 cents to 50 cents a piece, it's honestly good to at least have a play set of these in your back pocket. Dragonic Overlord has been dropping since the last time we spoke about it. It was on its way to $4, but now it has a mass amount of listings right now, dropping its price back to about $152, depending on just how many quantities you want. Then you got the SP as well, which it's been on the decline as well, even with the end seeing a lot of gameplay these days. But the SP is looking at $16 plus. There is a variant of the deck that is coming out where you would actually play 4 copies of this, and you would actually use the end as the ride deck grade 3 instead, because there's a card in Japan right now which allows you to put Dragonic Overlord into the soul as long as your opponent is grade 3. Dragon Knight Nehalem, the SP version of this is basically hovering between $10 and $15. Mostly you'll find it at like $13 listings, especially when you consider it shipping as well. But this is another one to keep your eye out for as Dragonic Overlord continues to get more toys to play with. Brainwash Swirler has gotten a bunch more listings since the last we talked about it. Last time it was just $100 with 2 listings. Now, I mean, it's better than before, but it's still not great. $60 overall, $55 to pick up copies of this right now. So yeah, I mean, Brainwash Swirler has been highly anticipated to be used in Chronojet Dragon, which is coming out tomorrow. So this is just going to continue for a little while longer, and we'll have to hope the reprint has some effect on the market. Beware of Overeating Eileen is a tech card you can use for Lyrical Monasterio decks. It works for any of them, to be honest. When you boost a rear guard, you can take a look at the top of your deck and put it on the top or bottom. Ultimately, just a generic tech. You can't use it with the Vanguard, of course, so you cannot set up your triggers just by attacking with the Vanguard first and then attacking with the rear guards afterward. So you mostly use this for a deck where you're going to restand your rear guards. But this card is $15 right now. It's had lows as low as 10 and 8 for the most part. So depending on whether or not people really go for it or even consider it a tech, that will really affect its price point. But expect it to kind of stabilize around 15. Eileen's SP, on the other hand, we're not looking at too many sales on this one for similar reasons, but it has sold in the 30s. So, yeah, not much else to say about it, though. Ultimately, it's a tech to consider when you're building your lyrical decks. So, a good thing to point out, especially given its price point. But speaking of the stuff that has been dropping, though, Megan. This card was on its way up to 25, with Viamon's Bruce being an option for this card, but it's not getting as much play as initially anticipated, and with the reprint on the horizon, I guess that adds on to how far this card has fallen, as it's back down to $5 from a pretty solid 20 from before. The SP is still $65 right now, but the number of listings that have actually sold are few and far between, so I could anticipate this getting more listings and also dropping in value. Friend of the Netherworld, Ling also got a bunch more listings after its initial buyout. We're looking at 13 overall for $7 plus, and the foil is starting at $17 now and has 5 listings available again. We'll have to see where this one goes to. Again, Ling is one of those Dark States cards that just has a generic ability to throw a card into Soul in some variation. So when it competes for spots between Valkyrie Performer, Brainwash, Gunram, and even Mikuni now, you really have to pick your option based on the tech that you want, which is potentially going to drive the price to stay at a rate of like 7 to 10. Dual Core Dragon is down as well. Usually this common version would sell for closer to $10, but we do have listings at $7. Granted, there aren't that many listings to begin with, so at the very least, they're available now. So if you need to pick up dual cores, this is probably a good time to look into doing so. Cooling Heart Yuika is almost out as well. This card just keeps going in and out all the time. And we're now looking at $60 up to $70 for its only listings. There is a $45 listing with a $5 shipping tag. But aside from that, the FFR, which I almost never cover, for the simple reason that this card is always sold out when I look at it. And the last listings all sold for $350, which has been a massive spike from the $200 range that it was seeing upon initial release. World Origin Rares. These are special rarities that are reprints of cards that we already have in the game, or I guess you could say they're alternate prints. So effectively, we have generic heal triggers for Stoichia and Dark States right now, where Dark States is just really expensive for some reason, and Stoichia is not. And then you've got the overtrigger for Cater Sanctuary, and then the overtrigger for Dark States, where Dark States is again really expensive. Cater Sanctuary, not so much. And this one kind of makes sense though, because this is from set 7, so there are lower quantities of this one compared to this one. I can't say the same about these two because there are low prints of both of these coming from set 4 and set 5. So why there's such huge discrepancy? probably due to the fact that this one is also a misprint, but only the misprint is on the market. So ultimately, I can't see too much value in picking up that one compared to regular triggers. Monster creator Archetype has been seeing a rise in value ever so slightly from its overall drop towards the $2 mark. So it's not a big gain right now, but it is going up and running out of quantities. I mean, 10 listings left is something to be aware of, especially given Minerva's Rising just came out, and a pretty consistent amount of listings would be closer to the 20. To the same point of Archetype, Waveloss is way up in value from when I last talked about it. Now it's closer to $20 and only has 8 listings left. Makes me sad because I did order some of these, but apparently the package is in limbo. So I'm a little concerned about that. But I would want to think that this would come down, given that only Archetype and Eva can use it, and in Eva it's more of a tech option. So play might end up decreasing for this card, and Archetype's not a meta deck. It's really just popularity and the fact that this is overall a generic between the two, where it's basically a draw card and then it's a 13k beat stick or booster, which is still really good. I mean, there's a reason this card was $8 to $10 right out the box. It's a good card, so it's no surprise that it did end up getting a boost like this, but I feel like it may be too high right now. Shoujo Doji is a card from Minerva's Rising that has not gotten very much love, though. It's got over 50 listings and is now chump change at this point. If you want the FFR, it's about $30. Yeah, this deck is not getting very much love and is very easy to pick up aside from Forktails, which we've talked about that enough times. I'm not going to bore you with that one again. Blitz cards. I just want to go over these as a whole because we do have set 9 coming next month and there have been a lot of movements here. Welstra's FFR, there's only 1 listing left of that one. Parfait, this card is not seeing as much play, but it is still a potential option for draw power. Hofleo is something you'll want to consider for activating your products. Iskra is another one where the FFR has actually gone up from about $1 initially. Welstra's regular printing, we're looking at $15 with a good amount of listings, so that should stay pretty stable. Hofleo's regular version, 19 listings at $250. Definitely watch out for this one. Better to have a playset of that sooner than later. Iskra's double rare, we've got 13 listings, which is alright, and it's under $1 at this point, but also keep your eye out for that one if you don't want to go into $5 for the FR, because that is a tech option that could potentially be played. And then the final card for the Blitz series that I want to cover is Freischütz Maximum, which is also today's last card. The FR of this is running out of quantities with only 4 listings available right now, and we're looking at $10 to start before it goes up to $15. But there are a number of copies that you can pick up for $10, so can this card get lower? Probably not. It is the key card of the entire Blitz deck outside of Welstra himself. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. If you have any requests, just let me know, and I will see about incorporating them next time. See you guys.